Hi everyone, I'm Matt. Welcome back to another Toylytics video where we take a look at the analytical side of toy collecting. In this video we're going to look specifically at the Deluxe Legion Builder wave of Mythic Legions and how those figures sold on the secondary market in the second half of 2023. So looking at the wave itself, it was first solicited on Store Horseman in May of 2021, and then it started delivering to customers in October of 2022. Looking at the wave here, you can see that there were 6 regular Legion Builder figures: Barbarian, Dark Templar, Dwarf, Gladiator, Goblin, and Skeleton. Then there was the Half Giant Legion Builder along with the Ogre Scale accessory pack that goes with the Half Giant to make what a lot of people call the Noble Barch Legion Builder figure. So let's take a look at how those have been selling over the past 6 months. Okay. So overall, you can see that there's a good number of sales here, probably because there's a lot of these figures available, but a good number of sales means that people do want them, and definitely that's something to keep in mind. So the Dark Templar has the most sales with 49, followed by the Dwarf, and everything else is selling generally around 30 to 50 figures. The Half Giant Legion Builder, a little fewer, 21, and then the Ogre Scale accessory pack selling for 14. I will say though that, and maybe I should keep track of this, but I haven't. In eBay, some people are selling the Half Giant Legion Builder and the Ogre Scale accessory pack together as one listing. I viewed that as a combination, and I didn't include that in the data because I couldn't really separate the value of each figure or of each offering because it's being offered as a bundle. All of these sales are individual figures, like all my data is. So I didn't keep track of that. Maybe I should just have it as a separate line item as the Half Giant plus accessory pack, but I haven't. So this only is individual figures. I will say though that definitely more Half Giants were sold if they were bundled with the accessory pack. So take that as you will. Looking at the sales over time, you can see that in general, on average, these figures are selling up to about 10 of them per month. There was a run on Dwarfs here in December of 2023 with 12, but in general, you can see anywhere from around, I would say, 3 or 4 up to 10 of each of these figures selling for the most part per month. Average prices, we would expect the Half Giant to sell for the highest price because he had the highest retail price. He's $50 retail price, at least on Big Bad Toy Store when he was available, which he has sold out, so not surprising to see the average price here creeping up and is now $65. The rest of these had a retail price of $45, and that is reflected by the secondary market prices too, being somewhere between $40 to $45 for all these figures. For the regular size figures, the Dwarf has the highest price, $43.89, probably due to a lot of those sales in December. Barbarian following close behind. Then the Gladiator, kind of surprisingly, is the one that has, at least to me, has the lowest average price. Still higher than 40 though, right around $40.30. The Ogre Scale accessory pack is selling individually for $37 on average as well. So what's interesting to see here is that the average price, and we'll take a look at some of the sales over time. One of the things you have to remember is that in around November and December, a lot of the retailers put these figures, whatever they had left, on sale for 20% off. They were part of the big sort of end of the year sale that the Four Horsemen authorized. So the $45 figures were selling for $36 at retail for a lot of retailers. So let's see how that may have impacted the sales for that particular month of time. So looking at the Barbarian Legion Builder first, you can see here's our $45 retail price. And even before the sale, a lot of these were selling on average between $35 and about $43. But some were selling for higher prices too, right? So sometimes, people were buying them for higher than the $45 retail price on eBay. Some people even over here is $55, $53. I mean, some of this is includes shipping, so they might have paid $45 plus shipping on eBay. But then in December, not a lot sold on eBay, right? So that could be part of the sale issue there. But then the prices overall seem to be a little bit lower, but not really any lower than that retail price, right? So there's that $35.99. That's the 20% off retail. in December, and only one ended up selling for less than that. That was this loose one for $26. So in general, still, Barbarian's still selling for around that retail price, give or take a few dollars. Dark Templar, right? So a lot of sales here for the Dark Templar, and here's our $45 retail price to keep in mind. In December, right, maybe a lot of retailers sold out of this figure because some of these were selling for, a couple dollars higher, right? So $50 here. Here's one for $53. But over its entire life, you can see the Dark Templar is going anywhere between about $36 and $45, and then a few were selling a little bit higher. It looks like, he may be selling out at some retailers, so maybe a little bit harder to get moving forward. Something we'll have to keep an eye on. Next, we have the Dwarf Legion Builder. As we said, we had a lot of sales of this figure in December. Here's our $45 regular retail price, and you can see that in November and December a lot of these were selling for $40, and here's our $36 discounted price too. So not really any sold less than that, just one of them here for $32. But in general, recently the Dwarf has been selling anywhere from that $35.99 up to about that retail price, and again, a few people paid higher than that, but I'm gonna chalk that up mainly to shipping. So still able to get a Dwarf Legion Builder for somewhere around that retail price, maybe a few dollars less. Here's our Gladiator with the lowest average price of any standard figure. Here's that retail price of $45. Not a lot were selling at that price. Right? So the Gladiator selling significantly below that. Here's even that $36 discounted price, and some even sold below that. But in general, a lot of them are selling between that $35 or so and about $40, at least over the fourth quarter of 2023. All right, let's move over to the Goblin. Not a whole lot of sales here for the Goblin, so here's that retail price of $45. You can see that some were selling for between that $36 and $45 range. A few sold higher, not many sold lower, but again, in general, following somewhat of that similar pattern, selling anywhere between that $36 20% off price and the $45 retail price. Now we'll look at the last standard figure in this list. We have the Skeleton Legion Builder. This one's kind of being thrown off by this really high price here of about $90, but if you throw that one out, you can see that in general, most were selling for around that retail price of $45, down to somewhere around that $35 or $36 discounted price. But even in December, you can see that a lot of people were still getting him for that retail price of $45, down to, here's a loose one for $31.40, but especially new ones selling right around that $40 to $45 price. Maybe other retailers had him in stock, so people weren't going to eBay if they wanted one in December as well when they were $35.99. Then we have the Half Giant Legion Builder, a little bit different than some of the others because he has sold out at a lot of retailers. You can see that earlier on in the summer, he was selling for somewhere between about $65 and $82, $80 or so. But he's kind of settled around the price of somewhere between $59 and $63. So a lot sold in December for somewhere around $59 to $63, and I'm expecting that to go up a little bit as he becomes a little bit harder to get at most retailers. And then finally, to go with the Half Giant, as I said, we're going to look at the accessory pack itself. Not a lot of sales here, but in general, you can see most of them selling for somewhere between about $32 and $36. A few selling for significantly higher than that, not really sure why, but most selling for somewhere between $32 to $36. So interesting wave here in that there's a lot of sales here because I think there are a lot of them on the market. So the production was higher of this wave than with some others, but they're starting to sell out and become a little bit scarcer at retail. So it'll be a little more interesting to see how the data looks over the first quarter of 2024 and beyond, when it's harder and harder to get these anywhere else but the secondary market. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, share, as everybody else says, and I hope you look forward to the next one. I look forward to making it. I hope you look forward to watching it, and I will see you again in the next one. Take care.